welcome to A Comic Book Look, your weekly comic book show where we talk about comic books and anything related to comic books. I'm your host, John. We got Tom on deck to my left and a very, very special guest to my right, Mr. Gabe Nightshield.
Yes, I guarantee this is going to be the sexiest episode ever.
Ooh! Ow! Feel the ratings going up already.
All right, yes. Well, we're coming live, or probably not live when you watch this, from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And, we're here to talk about comic books once again. We got our guest in the house, Gabe here, Gabe Nightshield. Musician from Sioux Falls and, representing the geek culture as well and loving comic books.
Hell yeah.
So, Gabe, what kind of comics do you like, or what are you into?
Oh, man, probably my favorite comic, like I said right now, is probably Walking Dead. Yep. To the show is whack as fuck, but the comic is the shit. I highly suggest everybody.
What didn't you like about the show that much? I mean, it wasn't that bad. At least there was a Walking Dead, a zombie show.
It was like the first two episodes are good, because it follows the comic.
Yeah, I like the first episode a lot.
And then, the first episode is really good. Like, when I saw that before the show came on, like, I think I downloaded it or something. I don't know how I saw it before it. But then, and then they just go off, like, completely tangent to, like, what the comic isn't even about. It's just like, what the fuck is happening right now? And then, I don't know. I just didn't like it. Like, if you're going to make a show based on a fucking comic, base it on the comic and not just fucking... Like, we're going to use these characters and just make our own fucking storyline with this shit. No,
I hear you. I mean, because I love Walking Dead as well. I picked up the compendium or whatever, like the huge, that giant book that like has like the first like 8 trades. And then, I mean, if you get that, it's not like you can stop. Yeah,
it's a comic that, like, because I only buy the graphic novels. I don't buy the issues or anything like that.
Yeah, I have eventually now I've switched to the single issues because I just had to get my fix in.
It's a great day. Like, whenever they come out, it's like every 6 months or whatever. It's like my favorite day of the month.
Yes.
So yeah, it's good
for sure, man. Yeah, what else do you like?
Far superhero stuff go, like Ultimate Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man are probably the only two like really superhero comics I read. And then I read like the other Ultimate stuff, like the Ultimates or whatever the fuck else is happening. But yeah, like one of my favorites is, have you ever read Preacher before?
Yeah.
Preacher's the shit. 100 Bullets is the shit.
I haven't read that yet, but they're coming out with like oversized hardcovers that they're gonna be able to do like the whole thing in 5 books, and so I'm gonna.
It's
comes
really
out in October. I'm
really good. It's really good.
I've only heard good things about it.
Yeah, and then like Fables is good. Whatever happened, weren't they going to have that shit on like ABC or something like that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's still like been optioned or whatever, but they don't. A lot of them just don't go through.
Yeah.
But, so I guess I haven't heard anything for that for a while. But yeah, sweet man. Well, all right. I think first off, let's talk about something that you're kind of infamous for is a book, Scalped. It's I've talked about it on this show before on our first show. I said it's my favorite ongoing series. Jason Aaron, R.M. Guerra is usually on art, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So what's your story with Scalped?
I'm actually in Scalped. This is the comic right here that I'm in. I think it's, issue 10. They actually have my CD in there, and then we used to have, if anybody's familiar with my music career or whatever, we used to have these shirts that say Rezzed Out and Famous, and it's sort of like one of the Nightshield Entertainment, like catchphrases or slogans or whatever you want to call it. And in the comic, they have a couple of the characters wearing the Rezzed Out and Famous T-shirts and stuff like that, which is pretty dope. So yeah, we got it's like the biggest honor you could have as a nerd to be in the comic.
Oh my god, yeah, awesome. For sure. I've heard of your music like long before. Obviously where I'm from, Sioux Falls. Everybody's heard of your stuff around here. So, but I remember reading Scalped, and it's on Gina Badhorse, like the mother of, like the, main character of the whole thing. It's, your CD's like sitting on her seat. She's like driving her beat up Mustang. And, I'm just going through the panels, not even really paying attention. Then it's like Tupac, Nightshield. I was like, yes! No way.
Yeah, it's the shit.
And so, representing Sioux Falls. And it's just cool anyway. That a comic book that, is so based in, South Dakota, or, because nobody talks about South Dakota.
Yeah, no, and that's sort of how that came about, because when the comic first came out, like the Argus Leader had done an article on it, and that was when Robert Morass used to write for the Argus Leader or whatever.
Yep.
And Robert knew that I was a comic book nerd, like a hardcore comic book nerd, and he also, he followed my music career and stuff and would report that kind of stuff. So, anybody that's not familiar, Scalped takes place on a fictional reservation here in South Dakota called the Prairie Rose Reservation. And so, Robert had hit me up, knowing the comic was coming out, for my opinion, because he was going to write a thing in the link about it or whatever. And at the same time, we did like a co-interview with me and Jason Aaron and Robert. And that's how I met Jason Aaron, and I had sent him, after the interview, I'd sent him like a package with all my music and stuff like that, and Jason really dug it or whatever, and he was like, I'm going to put you in a comic, and I was like,
okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool, man, like, I didn't really know, like, I was like, all right, that's cool, man, whatever, and then he hit me up, like way later, like a month or two later, and was like, your issue's coming out next month, and I was like, what the fuck? And then so yeah, it was the shit though.
That's awesome. So Jason Aaron called you, not like the editor.
Yeah,
or anything,
no,
or
Jason. Like every once in a while, like I'll still email Jason Aaron like just random questions, just because.
Oh, that is
like
fucking badass.
We had whenever. Well, he writes Wolverine, and we were. Me and Maniac were having an argument one day that only Jason Aaron could really settle for us. And it was like fucking, Wolverine, he's got the super, healing power or whatever, so, and we were like, or Maniac said, if Wolverine has this healing ability and hair is dead cells or whatever, how is Wolverine so hairy? And I was like, what? I don't know, fuck, I have no idea. And so fucking, I emailed fucking Jason Aaron, and we stumped Jason Aaron. Jason Aaron had no fucking idea, and he writes Wolverine, so fucking...
I'd say he's so hairy because he beats the shit out of those, cells,
Yeah.
Puts them away.
It's so tough that they just die right away and got to get out of his body.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, but it's dope. One of my other favorite characters is Ghostrider, too, and Jason Aaron used to write for Ghostrider, and that was always awesome. He'd give me some inside scoops on Ghostrider and stuff too, so it was cool.
Yeah, he got a good long run on Ghostrider. There hasn't been a good one since his.
Well, yeah, his run on Ghostrider is like the best run in Ghostrider for the last like fucking like 10 or 12 years. Like Ghostrider fucking sucks.
They keep on trying to do something with him. I read a little bit of Ghostrider during Shadowland, I think.
Yeah.
And Shadowland was horrible in any ways, and so Ghostrider wasn't going to take it out of it. I have read very little Ghostrider, even though I think like one of my first comics was a Ghostrider comic. It was because I was 8 years old, and it was the 90s, and like every single comic was either Wolverine, Ghostrider, or the Punisher, back then. And so I remember having Ghostrider, but I still don't know a lot about him. Does he have like psychic abilities, or is he just like Satan's minion, or what's the deal?
It depends. Ghostrider was like
variation.
he was like my favorite character back in the 90s. Like the 90s run of Ghostrider was about 93 issues or something like that. Is the best. It's the only reason I continue to read Ghostrider, just because I'm like, that run was so awesome. But yeah, now they've just totally just fucked him up as a character. Like,
isn't there 2 Ghostriders now?
Yeah. Well, in Jason Aaron's run, there's like fucking like 100 Ghostriders.
Instead of hammers from the sky, it's skulls and motorcycles.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
there you go.
I don't know.
Instead of hammers.
And now in the current, they just started a new volume of Ghostrider, and it's a fucking girl, which is retarded. And she fucking cuts off Blackout and fucking Deathwatch's head in like the first issue, and that's like Ghostrider's 2 main fucking villains, like his 2 like biggest villains that she takes him out in like the first issue.
She doesn't mess around.
A little shock value.
It was fucking stupid. Fuck that.
The only recollection that I ever have of a Ghostrider is when back in the day, I'm a big Blade fan for no apparent reason, and these like Night Stalker comics, Ghostrider would always show up, like the Midnight Suns or whatever, were all like the dark area of the Marvel, and it's some of the worst comic booking around, but I still own them all, and I reread them probably, 2 years ago, and it's kind of a fun, Night Stalkers is like a group of, like vampire hunters, and they always are meeting up with Ghostrider, and I don't know what are the other Dracula?
Like Morbius.
And
it was like the Darkhold was in that fucking group, and then like Doctor Strange.
Yep, and they would just it was like good ideas, and then just it ended up being like always going through like 5 issues, and then nothing really happened.
Well, Ghostrider was such a huge character in the '90s that they were like, hey, let's milk as much money out of this as we can.
Exactly.
And I fucking probably put a couple of their kids through college with that shit.
Yeah, luckily my mom didn't give me the money. Apparently, I didn't get to pick up as much Ghostrider.
Yeah, fucking A.
Word, man. Yeah, so John, what have you been reading lately?
Well, I did a lot of homework, so I mean, some of the stuff we talked about last time. I got the Pride of Baghdad, read the Lion Trade. Awesome.
What'd you think about it? Did you see the end coming?
No. It was depressing. It's like the Lion King reverse. Like, Simba, you're not going to succeed. You know, there's no hope. There's a bear that calls female tigers whores.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I kind of threw you off that just these animals are just talking normal.
Yeah, the bear had a really angry font too. Yeah, so that was my favorite. That was cool. Joker, the trade was cool. Batman 1 through 3 that you recommended was cool.
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
Pig the villain. Well,
how awesome was that one?
That was pretty good.
God, those are the.
You got the rest of that stuff? Or?
Yeah, I got them all.
Okay, I might take you.
Well, I got until 16 until Grant Morrison dropped off. But
okay.
Yeah, that Batman and Robin once again. I'm glad you read it. Did your homework in 1 week? All 3 books.
Yeah, I mean, I still got to do the Superman Red Sun. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah.
Russian Superman.
Yeah, Russian Superman. I got to read that still. But I also read Scalped, the first trade, which is what, issues 1 through 5?
Yeah.
On there. So. So guess what, guys? That's not DC or Marvel, so be proud of me.
That's kind of DC.
Yeah, technically.
Well, what does it say? Vertigo.
Vertigo is fucking a DC.
I know, but it doesn't say DC on it.
Okay.
And it's not like
congratulations. It's creator owned.
And there's no tights or anything here unless they're on a chick on the rest. So alright. So there's no capes or anything. This is something new, and I'm proud of myself.
So what did you think about it? Coming from you kind of warmed up, I guess, with Pride of Baghdad. That's also kind of an indie book through Vertigo, but away from the superheroes, there's not even really a good character in this that is probably all the way good. I mean, they're all flawed characters.
Oh yeah, and just in the 5 issues, I'm starting to see 2 sides to everybody, and it's like, wow. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like coming up.
I say there's people that can read Scalped, and it's mainly a story.
You could read it again and get something new out of it.
Oh, definitely. The 2 main characters, Red Crow is probably the main protagonist, and and then Dash Old Bad Horse is probably the main guy who's supposed to be the good guy. But I mean, maybe someone else than me would read the whole entire series and think, be behind Red Crow. Because, there's plenty of things that even though he's ruthless and he makes hard decisions, in his mind, they're always the right decision.
He's like the native Wilson Fisk.
He is. He's the king. He's the kingpin of the Prairie Rose.
Yeah, that's shit.
But he is, and I don't know. Do you read them monthly? Like, have you read?
I used to pick them up monthly, but then I would always buy the trades too, and I was like, well, why am I still? So I just read the trades now.
Because shit just hit the fan, and Red Crow is nothing like he used to be, and so. Really? Where it's happening right now, as you can tell, I think we're on issue 50-something. Jason Aaron's wrapping up this story soon.
Yeah, I kind of don't like that. I like it. He's got like a whole story in mind, but it sucks because then there's really no other running besides Walking Dead, maybe like in Fables that I really dig. Like as far as like with Vertigo and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, but hopefully there'll be something else coming in. Brian K. Vaughan's going to have a new book coming out, Saga, that's starting January, I think, of 2012. And so Brian K. Vaughan, famous Why the Last Man, and he wrote that Pride of Baghdad too, that book. And he's awesome. And so he's going to have a new ongoing that he says will be a completed series, but it will last way longer even than Why the Last Man. So it's going to have the same artist. It's going to be through Image this time, called Saga.
Same artist too?
Same artist throughout the whole thing. No, it's going to have a different artist. Her name is Fiona Staples.
Oh.
But they plan on doing the whole thing together, and she is phenomenal at art. It's going to be some sort of sci-fi epic. So hopefully that'll be good. That's something that you can pick up. But I like also, what am I reading at? Vertigo. That's really good that I was talking about. not Unwritten, not Sweet Tooth. I mean, both of those are good
That's
books
what I was
that
gonna say.
but I'm reading. But there was, man. Oh, American Vampire. Have you read that? Any of that?
No.
Oh man, it's pretty good. I mean, the miniseries that's coming out right now is like the best art. But that's obviously, you know, anybody's pretty vampired out at this point.
Yeah, that's
Twilight.
You know,
anything I see with a vampire right now, I'm just like, that's
The
fucking
X-Men thing didn't need
Yeah.
to happen, by the way, disclaimer.
Yeah, I mean, just
Oh my God.
exactly. I mean, everybody's just vampired out, so I can see that.
Yeah.
But like, you're gonna read that like 20 years from now and be like, "Oh, that's a damn good series," you know, because that's when like nobody will care about vampires for a while, and we'll all be want to read a story.
I
But
can't wait for that day.
It's been a while.
I just want to fucking like vampires again.
That don't fucking glisten.
I
glitter and talk
I
about
want
their
the vampires
feelings
that
and
just
shit.
kill,
Yeah.
maim, and
Yeah.
bloody.
And aren't virgins. Fuck.
Yes,
You're my first. All right.
for sure. So you also like Spider-Man? That's what I hear. That's what John always talks
Yeah,
about. That's
yep.
kind of your character that you go with superheroes. So you know,
Yeah.
are you reading Amazing Spider-Man that it's
Oh, yeah,
coming
yeah.
out? So
Yeah, amazing.
Is it amazing right
Yeah,
now?
it's alright. I mean, they got the fucking Spider Island thing, which just looks gay as fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna
don't
say
know.
it does not look good. I mean, it looks like a good jumping off point.
Yeah.
You read Cloak and Dagger, I guess.
Yes, Cloak and Dagger from Spider Island. Awesome book, and if you want something that's comical and amazing, get that because it's hilarious. They're like being evicted from their church, and she tells the guy, "We're superheroes. This is our headquarters," and he was like, "No, you're not." They get evicted from their church that they live in. I think that was pretty messed
Dude,
up.
Cloak wasn't just like, "All right, I'm taking you into the darkness."
No, they were just like, okay,
Can he like
whatever.
teleport anywhere? Like,
Yeah.
what
Dude,
the
he
fuck?
can go in. He can with his
Yeah.
dark cloak. He can literally. There's no like described things that Cloak can't
Yeah.
do. I think he
Yeah.
just like, yeah, go in here, stay for a while, come back out. We can hide in here. We can move
There
around.
was a
we can go-
comical scene though. He transported
I
a
love
bunch of
Cloak and Dagger.
Avengers plus Dagger to the scene where all these Spider-Man wannabes were at. in his cloak, Dagger had changed into her outfit. He was like, "Did you do that in front of all those guys, like Hawkeye and everything?" And she was like, "No one can see anything in there unless I let them." Law.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want to see? Dagger is so hot. Her titties
That-
are always just
The costume.
Just about to come
It's the cross, you know. I don't know. Interesting thing though, we were talking about the Spider-Man villain as our research character a few issues back, and we talked about the dark negative zone characters, and it's really funny because Cloak was one and Mr. Negative was one. Guess who's in the same book? Interesting. So this is a 1 of 3, so I'm gonna definitely be picking up the other two just because I want to see how those two characters mix. Mr. Negative's kind of, is he a newer? I'd say he's
Yeah,
a newer
he's like
because I met him in Dark Reign.
1 or 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
Yeah.
probably 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. So we'll get to see a little Dark Zone, whatever. We were just talking about that. So that was cool. I'm glad I did the research on it.
Dude, I've heard a lot of people complain about this new Dan Slott's run on like Big Time Spider-Man. You know, I've heard a lot
What's
of
the
people
big
say
time? What was big about Big Time?
He got a new job or something.
Yeah, he got a new job, and then
do
I
it.
kind of dig it, man. I don't like the Spider Island shit. Looks fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like that just is a storyline that just doesn't
I
need
saw
to happen.
Fisk in a spider outfit on one
Yeah.
of those covers.
It's
Yeah,
just-
I haven't read Spider-Man for a while now. I don't know. I think the last story I read was like the Lizard story back when they were doing it bi-weekly.
Yeah.
That was okay.
I've actually like one of my fucking things that I like as a nerd. Like I try to collect Amazing Spider-Man is like the one title that
Yeah,
I'll
you'll
go into
never-
the back issue bin and look for, and I have like every issue from issue 300 on up. I'm missing like 8 issues or something like
That's
that.
awesome.
So I have like over like what they just finished 666.
Yeah.
So
That's
I'm
like 360
Yeah.
issues of
A
Spider-Man.
lot of white box.
Yeah,
That's
the
awesome.
shit.
I have no idea.
For sure.
That's crazy.
So I don't know. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Fuck it.
Yep.
So-
Sweet, man. Yeah. Well, John, there's a big, exciting announcement that I wanted to tell you that I am not happy about at all. But I know you're going to be. Marvel, once again, trying to, bleed a dead horse, is doing its best at getting some more money off the Dark Avengers. And come November 2011, Dark Avengers is starting a new series. So what do you think
pleases
about
me.
that?
I'd like to thank my parents. Gabe's been pretty inspirational too in supporting me in my Dark Avengers. I don't know. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Are you excited?
No, I'm not
Shut
excited.
your mouth.
Dude,
What?
what is
So
Norman?
what are they gonna do?
Is Norman gonna be back?
Bring him back. Oh.
How could they do it without one? Really? Like fucking. I'm kind of pissed off that they take the two like best Spider-Man villains like Norman Osborn and fucking Venom, and they're like not even really like Spider-Man villains anymore.
They're their own worlds.
Yeah,
they're the equivalent of they have their own characters and they have their own supporting cast now.
Yeah, and that's not cool with me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess. But you can only have so many stories with Venom and Spider-Man, and you can only have so many stories with the other ones.
Yeah.
So I guess I can kind of see, them doing it. And yeah, I mean, like, there's tons of idiots out there, John Ryan, who are will buy anything that has Venom. But I mean, like, they'll definitely.
Guess who put the kibosh on that? This guy.
Oh, dude.
He's been giving me the classic trades. Like, and they're awesome. Like, Eddie Brock had balls back in the day, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. This anti-Venom stuff, kind of wishy-washy, but
everything with Venom
awesome.
Nowadays.
And Mary Jane was foxy.
The Venom is not a Venom. It is they should be called Flash Thompson. You know, I mean, it's his story.
I don't like.
And it's not Venom. I mean, it's not like he's like brains and I'm just connected. We are one. It's like completely different.
I'm jumping off of that one. I think. I mean, the past few issues have been duds. And, no, I mean, I've been seeing it, but I'm serious. Like this last was bad.
Good.
I'm not feeling it.
Venom has been.
It had potential, but.
I thought it started good. I liked Terry Moore on art. I mean, he started out with.
I like the thing with Craven.
First guy who did the Walking Dead trade. And
yeah.
I thought it was good, but then then when I start thinking about it, it's like, oh, really? They're gonna have this alien symbiote be able to like morph itself into perfect legs and kneecaps and and pads and like to look like a completely army suit. Well, that's not really what he does, but whatever. Taking him to a different level, I guess that's fine. At least, I mean, it has to be better than Dark Avengers, and they're getting another title.
So where did you hear this from?
The worst series.
I thought I told you about that. I fucking heard about that like a long time ago.
Where did you guys hear this from?
I heard it just today. I try to, anytime I see Dark Avengers, I like to shield my eyes, my ears, and puke.
Who told you?
I saw it online.
Yeah, I don't know what websites to check out, but I saw.
You know why they're doing it though? Because Marvel is like, hey, I need a moneymaker and a good team, so why not do the Dark Avengers?
I, of course, found out at Inveterate Media Junkies. You are on drugs.
Speaking of Spider-Man, I just wanted to point out, readers, that the #1 Spider-Man book, as it turns out to national polls, is Sinister Spider-Man. It was a...
What?
Are you trying to prove you're down on drugs right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, dude, you're messing out.
No. What the fuck? How can you even say that?
Because it was awesome. What do you got?
And this is your next homework. There it is. The Dark Phoenix Saga.
I've been wanting to read this forever.
You gotta read it. It's so good. And you're gonna
it.
love it. And it's the best X-Men. I mean, it is such a soap opera, esque kind of book, and like everything is like feelings. Oh, Scott just loves her so much, and like he needs to take her down because he knows she's bad. And there's just like so many funny things.
So it's kind of like X-Men the movies that came out recently.
Kind of. Yeah.
Why is Cyclops always such a Sally Sue? What's your take on that?
Fuck the X-Men. I don't know.
Oh man. X-Men is where it's at.
I love the X-Men. I'm just saying Cyclops.
I don't know. Yeah, like I was never really big into the X-Men. Like Wolverine's cool, but I'm even like sort of like halfway on Wolverine too. Like it depends on the writer.
Yeah.
Whoever's writing Wolverine for sure.
For sure.
That's the best news ever though.
Dark Avengers and such. I was just threw open my mouth, shook my head, couldn't believe it.
I bet they're gonna give me so much crap. I'm gonna give them so much crap.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm sure it has to be a new team or something. They're gonna try to,
No, they're not. Everyone's coming back.
But no way. You can't break up Moonstone from the Thunderbolts. That book's too good, man.
No, you can break her. It's all really good books.
For sure, man.
Cool.
Well, all right. You guys got anything else?
My new album, The Hangover's coming out soon. Fuck.
You win.
Yeah.
Hangover.
Yeah, in December, I think. So. Yeah. So look for that in December and check me out on Facebook in the meantime.
Yeah.
All right, well,
if you want to learn more about Nightshield and his music, or want to hit him up about comics, he's in the group. So look us up at Comic Book Look. Otherwise, just look for Nightshield or Gabriel Nightshield. on Facebook on there.
Yeah, and I'll put up some links. I'll put up some spots where you guys can check him out, and don't forget to check us out on Facebook, A Comic Book Look,
Or YouTube.
Or YouTube.
Or Gmail.
You gotta get some comments going on YouTube. Let's get a discussion there going a little bit.
You can make fun of me for my foot in the mouth earlier. Again, I apologize. Vertigo is a baby of DC, but it's not DC because DC is like underwear over tights, Superman and Batman and so forth. Scalped is the real deal. This is local.
We got you. Yeah, I mean it is at least creator
and I was
owned.
proud of.
It doesn't take place in the DC universe. Like,
so if you're gonna comment on anything, comment on that.
It would be a pretty good crossover to see, just Constantine sometime have to head out to the prairie roast to figure something out.
Like, hey, what's up?
Came over from England. I love cigarettes. But yeah, all right. Thanks for watching again, A Comic Book Look. We'll see you next week.
See ya.